friends. I'm here in the larger van on a rainy night, and I'm going to get off topic a little bit. I've decided I'd like to talk to you about Aretha Franklin and this circus that's been going on. Now, I'm not comfortable putting a lot of personal information out there, but I am going to say this. I was a city kid, and as a city kid, I got shipped to the country and grew up in the South, which should be pretty obvious from my accent. So I've been around funerals in the North, I've been around funerals in the South. I know things are a little bit different in the North. You know, you go to a funeral up there, and a lot of times photographs will be taken with people with the person that's in the coffin. And this whole Aretha thing just bothers me. As a matter of fact, I was in Detroit the day after she died, and actually went over to the real Motown in Motown, watching The Tourist.
Welcome to Motown.
I also know a little bit about history. And your views on this may be different, but here's mine. Politicians and different things that have lied in state, this happens for a few days. Sometimes they were taken across the country, by train like FDR, and these people were still buried in 3 or 4 days. Emmett Till, that was murdered in 1955 down in the South, was taken back to Chicago and shown, if you know a little bit of that history, and that was within 8 or 9 days. Elvis Presley was buried basically in 3 days, which is pretty much normal with what I have grown up with anywhere in my lifetime. Aretha died on the 16th. It is now the 30th. And they are still parading this woman around day after day through Detroit. And it doesn't matter that it's Detroit. It could be anywhere. But nowhere in the media, in any newspaper, anything on TV, does anyone seem shocked by this, that they are still carting this poor woman around 2 weeks later. So in a nutshell, my question is this. What in the hell is wrong with these people? I mean, we didn't do this with Elvis. We didn't do this with Whitney Houston. We didn't do this with Prince. We haven't done this with anybody I can think of, in my lifetime. Now, going back to the history thing again, when Abe Lincoln was killed, it was 19 days before they buried him. And they took him across the country by a train. They actually made a stop and exhumed his infant son that had died a couple of years earlier, put him on the train, took him up, and buried them together. But this was in the 1860s. So 150 years later, things like this just aren't common, that we're still parading someone around 2 weeks later. And if this was happening, you would expect it to be in an enclosed coffin covered with glass, plexiglass, like they do with politicians and things lying in state. Instead, they have Aretha out, setting her up, posing her, dressing her in different outfits every day. There was a concert thing going on, I believe, tonight. I'm surprised they didn't just stick her in the front row to watch. I mean, there's just something about this that is not sitting well with me. And it doesn't seem to be bothering anyone else. No one seems to think that this is wrong, apparently, except me. Now, I can think back to my lifetime, and the only time that you have had a poor deceased person being set up and dressed up day after day was in horror films. If no one else has a problem with it other than me, maybe my line of thinking is wrong. So I'm going to make some changes to my will tomorrow, and what's going to happen to my retirement account should I happen to kick off here. And I'm going to appoint a couple of people, and when I die, I just want you all to take me on a 2-week tour around the country to the places I've maybe not been yet, or just the places I liked, and just, man, take me to the Badlands and pose me next to some nice rocks, and then take me over to Devil's Tower in Wyoming and pose me there, and, you know, have some fun with it, I guess. If it's all right to play dress up and cart around the country, then maybe that'll be a set of videos you never forget. If this offends somebody, I'm sorry. This is my opinion. You can take it for what it's worth. You can put your opinion down in the comments below and let me know whether you think I'm just wrong to feel the way I do, that this whole thing with her has been wrong, or whether you agree with it and have no problem with it. And we'll see you next time, back to things that actually concern budget travel and RVs and vans.